Welcome to this week's Thoughtful Thursday. And this week I wanted to talk about the importance of embracing the present moment. Now, this can feel like one of the most challenging things to do when we're dealing with a chronic illness or some kind of health challenge, or our nervous system is really highly amped up. Because it's almost like the place we least want to be is here, right now in the present moment. We want to go to the past as a way of kind of escaping what's happening here, or we want to go to the future as a way of escaping what's happening. It's like we almost do anything we can to get away from our immediate experience. The challenge of doing this is to be able to escape where we are now. We have to disconnect from ourselves. So our nervous system speeds up, like our whole system goes faster. We also tend to disconnect from our body. So if our body is telling us that we need to rest, or our body is telling us that we need to put a boundary somewhere, the more we go to the past and the more we go to the future, the less we're in touch with that information, the less we have that feedback from our immediate experience. So this is particularly why one of the challenges at this time of year is everyone's in the kind of new year, new you, set goals. I talked about this in Monday's episode, that we almost think that the resolution to the challenges we experience is all about building a better future. Now, there's absolutely a place for cultivating and creating our future the way we want it to be. So I'm not saying we shouldn't pay attention to the future. I'm also not saying we shouldn't pay attention to processing and digesting things that have happened in the past. But ultimately, the joy and the satisfaction of life comes from being here, being present, being in our body, being in this moment. One of my teachers said something to me many years ago, which took me many years to fully understand. 90 to 95% of the suffering we experience in our life is not the events that happen, it's our resistance to, our rejection of the events that happen. Another way of looking at that is when we're constantly trying to escape what's happening, that causes suffering. It causes, there's the pain, then there's the pain of trying to escape and trying to get away from the pain. The more we do that, it tends to be the more frustration, the more pain, the more suffering that we experience. By learning to be present, by learning to really be here, to be connected in this moment, one of the things that we find is that often that will change the physical experience in our body because we're calming our system, we're more connected, we're emotionally connected. And if it doesn't change the actual physical experience, it will often change the way we feel about the experience. We will change our relationship to our symptoms, to our emotions, to our body. Joy, like really feeling the joy and the pleasure in life, requires us to be connected. That's why we can have the experience of being like super excited and super adrenalized and achieve like some massive thing in our life, but we don't really experience it. We're not really there. It's like people, and I'd include myself in this, people will say, I wish I could go back to my own wedding and experience it as a guest. Because we're so kind of busy kind of organizing and kind of hosting and doing all the things that we're not really present. We don't get to feel the connection, the pleasure, the joy of just being there. The more we come into our body, the more our body's able to heal. The more we're calming our system, the more we're listening, the more we're connecting. Things that were painful, we tend to change our relationship to. We tend to find more peace, more harmony with the experience that we're having. So how do we support being more connected? How do we support being more in the moment? Well, partly it's about the conditioning of our mind. We've conditioned our mind to be in the past, to think about the future, to reflect, to ruminate, to replay conversations. So part of this is a reconditioning. It's a rewiring of our mind and of our nervous system. That's a whole other kind of science, but that takes awareness of the patterns and stopping patterns and reconditioning the system. Partly also, we need to learn to train our attention to be more present to our body, to actually be in our arms and our legs and our breath. So we're training our mind to be differently, but we're also training our attention, our awareness. This is one of the things that's a really big focus in the Reset program, that I don't just teach people to stop certain thought patterns, but we have this big focus on coming into the body, being more connected to the body, listening to the body, understanding the language of the body. In terms of offering some just kind of simple practical steps that you can use in a kind of short video, obviously things like the Reset program are a way of going into way more detail around this, but a couple of simple things. One, listen to the Mindful Monday meditations. We're starting to build a bit of a library of those meditations on YouTube. So listen to those and you'll notice a lot of my instruction is around coming more into the body, connecting to the breath, connecting into the kind of the arms and the legs and being more grounded. Also, using simple daily practices can be really helpful. So, for example, listening, doing the washing up and just listening to your body, feeling the sensation of, the plate, the water, the smells, your feet on the ground, the sounds in the room. If you're with other people, rather than your attention getting completely sucked into them and what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what you've got to remember to say, what's happening later, really trying to just ground yourself and be more landed in your body. Feel your feet on the ground, feel your breath, feel your shoulders relaxing, notice the muscles in your face relaxing. That you're training your attention and your awareness to be present, to be connected, to be in the moment. And as much as I think books like The Power of Now can be inspirational and can be helpful, I think one of sometimes the missing ingredients is remembering this is a training. This is training your attention to function differently. And if we've spent years training our mind to be busy and practicing being busy or fantasizing about the future or whatever, we've just got really good at that because we've done it a lot. So we have to recondition the system. That then what happens is we go from kind of efforting to kind of training to it becomes a more natural home. We find ourselves just more naturally grounded in our body, landed, connected in the moment. That what initially takes practice becomes more effortless, becomes easier. So reflect on how can you embrace the present moment more. Meditation can help that. There's a whole suite of other kind of tools and techniques, but just pick some simple activities that you do. See if you can practice, anything from brushing your teeth to making a meal to doing washing up to sitting with a friend to, walking around the house, whatever it may be, practicing, moving your attention from your mind to your body, slowing your system down, and even just things as simple as sensing the arms and legs, just feeling the feelings, the sensations, and using that almost like an anchor point to bring yourself back into the body. Another way of putting it is your body is your gateway to the present moment. It's not about so much of your mind being in the moment, it's about being in your body and your body being connected to being in the present moment. This is a big topic. I'm sure there's more that I'll say on this in these vlogs. Tomorrow is Flourishing Friday, and we're going to have another replay of one of the in-depth recovery stories we've done as part of the Optimum Health Clinic Facebook Lives. So I look forward to talking with you then.